He's holding on for dear frickin' life. He's got his cock! Oh!
Do you have a medical update yet on Pantoja? Do we know what his status is?
Yeah, they popped his shoulder back in. I thought it was the elbow.
I did too.
No, it was not the elbow.
Shoulder?
It was his shoulder. And they popped it back in backstage. And, now they got to do, MRIs and check out the ligaments and see how it is. So we don't have a time frame on how long he'll be out.
It's a great win, and he won that title fair and square, blown away by the performance. I mean, a master class, if you will, but it will forever be dissected and debated whether or not this was the Petr Yan show or a little bit of a mistake on Merab Dvalishvili's part. Again.
So here's what went down at the recent UFC free-to-air event. This thing was completely insane from start to finish. We witnessed some absolutely shocking upsets, where champions like Alexandra Pantoja and the dominant Merab Dvalishvili actually got stripped of their belts. But then you had fighters like Petr Yan and Joshua Van who came out swinging and completely flipped the script with performances that left everyone's jaws on the floor. Yan especially put on this incredible clinic that had fans losing their minds. He completely dismantled Merab Dvalishvili, who's basically been steamrolling through the division all year long. With that massive victory, Yan stormed back to reclaim his championship. After everything went down, Merab got really emotional and sent this touching message to all his supporters back in Georgia. The love he has for his family and appreciation for their support really came through. He wanted everyone to know that even though he picked up some damage during the fight, he's actually feeling more driven than ever. He promised his fans he'll come back even tougher, really celebrating that deep bond he has with his homeland and his people. Let's dive into how Merab Dvalishvili handled this loss, because it really revealed his true character. Right away, he gave props to Petr Yan, admitting straight up that Yan was the better man that night and congratulating him with complete sincerity. Merab made it clear that his main priority was always to put on an exciting show for the audience, to really deliver something special. He was completely honest about how brutal the weight cut was leading up to this fight. We're talking about an absolutely punishing process, but he was quick to say he wasn't looking for any excuses for what happened out there. Merab showed nothing but respect for Yan, explaining that he made a conscious choice to come forward and bang instead of playing it conservative or relying heavily on his wrestling. And here's what fight fans want to hear. He's definitely interested in running this back someday, getting another shot to settle things. His exact words were something like, "I tried to give an entertaining fight today and I lost. He was better, so congratulations to him, but I really want a rematch. I want to run it back. Making 35 pounds is always brutal for me, and today was definitely no different. But I'm not looking for excuses. I just wanted to put on a good show for everyone. I'm happy the fans got their money's worth. That's what really matters to me. He got me tonight, and I have to respect that. In the UFC, I'm just trying to be a team player and give people entertainment. I didn't want to wrestle or play things safe. I wanted to stand up and throw down with him. He was the superior fighter tonight. But here's where things get a little heated. Yan showed absolutely zero interest in jumping straight into a trilogy fight with Merab. He basically told him to go chill in the hot tub with his crew and figure out what's next before they even start talking about anything else.
Сейчас время как бы насладиться этим, но думаешь ли ты, что все-таки трилогия неизбежна?
Я думаю, Мерабу надо сейчас опять посетить джакузи с мальчиками, отдохнуть, а там посмотрим.
I think Merab should really just get the boys.
Yan kept the jokes coming after that. He didn't let up with the playful trash talk. He threw another perfectly timed dig at Merab Dvalishvili, suggesting that Merab's probably been hanging out in jacuzzis with his boys just running his mouth non-stop for weeks. Yan kind of hinted that maybe this is finally his time to enjoy being in the spotlight and soak up all the attention. He mentioned that he's usually not the type to get into all the loud talking and verbal warfare stuff. That's just not really who he is. But he felt like in this situation, Merab had definitely earned himself some of that playful mockery and a few well-placed jabs. It's like he's saying, you did all the talking, now I get to have my moment.
I think the total at the end of it, Merab Dvalishvili, was 2 for 29 on takedown attempts. What do you think when you hear a number like that?
Что я думаю? Сейчас, наверное, он в джакузи опять с мальчиками.
What can I say? He's probably in jacuzzi right now with the boys hashing it out.
Не, ну он всю неделю там много говорил, честно сказать.
The whole week he kind of talked a bit too much. I'll be honest about it.
Я думаю, что мое время немножко пришло.
I think maybe it's finally my time for a bit.
Little bit, да?
A little bit.
I'm don't like, болтовни вот этой всей, да, лишней.
I don't like all this blabbering, too much talking. Nah, I don't like it.
When you really think about it, Yan feeling like Merab had this coming makes perfect sense given how fighters operate with each other. But switching gears from the rivalry stuff, Dana White himself came forward with massive respect for Merab Dvalishvili after his disappointing loss to Petr Yan. Dana was quick to call Merab legitimately one of the most relentless fighters he's witnessed in his entire career, which is incredible praise coming from someone like Dana. He also mentioned that even though they had a pretty bumpy start to their working relationship, and we all know how intense those situations can get in the UFC, Dana now has complete admiration for Merab. The fact that Dana White, who's been around countless elite fighters, holds Merab in such high regard really shows you the kind of heart and determination this Georgian fighter brings every single time.
One of the toughest fighters that I've ever come across. And let's just say, Merab and I didn't get off on the right foot early on. I have nothing but respect for him and everything that he's accomplished. And yeah, and for Petr to come in and do what he did tonight. And I mean, the body shots and the head shots and the wrestling. I mean, it was an incredibly high level fight that was, what a hell of a way to end the ESPN era.
Now, Sean O'Malley was absolutely loving life watching Petr Yan dismantle Merab. You could tell he was soaking up every second of that performance and having the time of his life. This is pretty interesting because O'Malley himself got beaten by Merab on 2 separate occasions, which were definitely bitter defeats to swallow, but he's also got a big victory over Yan on his record. So after watching Yan beat down Merab, O'Malley kind of suggested that this result pretty much answered a lot of lingering questions. He even joked around that the exact moment when Merab got slammed on his head during the fight might end up as his new phone background. That's how much entertainment he got out of watching that whole thing play out.
Oh, Peter cracked Merab with a 3-2 down the pipe. Oh, Peter Yan with the double leg. Oh, and he's holding on for dear frickin' life. He's got his cock. Oh, Peter lands a huge right hand. Merab's face is beat to all hell. Oh! Peter just picked up Merab and dropped him on his head. God, Merab getting slammed on his head might be my new screensaver. And Merab's still just coming forward like a freak. Oh! Peter just kicks Merab in the belly. Oh my God, I've done this to him before. If he finishes it with a body shot, I basically did too. Merab's screaming in there going, ah! Damn, his coach just said we're up 3. You got your ass kicked for 3, but we're up 3. Your face is bleeding, your liver's damn near gone, but we're up 3. You might as well have told you're up 4. Watch your head, brother. Been there. Watch your neck, buddy.
Riding that wave of excitement, Sean O'Malley came out of Petr Yan's amazing victory feeling completely energized and ready to make moves. He didn't waste any time publicly announcing his clear intentions. He wants to demolish Song Yadong at UFC 34, and by doing exactly that, he's planning to position himself perfectly for another huge title shot against Petr Yan. O'Malley was full of praise, describing Yan's showing as one of the most impressively one-sided performances he's ever witnessed firsthand. He even added some comedy, saying that if the judges had somehow given that decision to Merab, he would have walked away from fighting completely out of pure shock. O'Malley gave Yan full credit for handling business in such a convincing way and sent a crystal-clear message to everyone in the division. Song Yadong is next on his hit list, and Petr Yan is who he's gunning for after that. He wants that belt back, and he's making no secret about it.
Bro, Peter Yan, that was one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen. Imagine they give Merab a decision. If they give it to Merab, I quit. I quit fighting. Holy shit. Peter Yan got the job done. Wow. Tweet, Song, you're out. Peter, you're next.
In the same vein, highly respected MMA journalist Ariel Helwani responded with complete amazement to Petr Yan's performance, instantly calling it a masterpiece, a real work of fighting art. Helwani smartly pointed out that Yan looked virtually flawless from beginning to end, almost impossible to touch. On the other hand, he noticed that Merab Dvalishvili seemed clearly off his normal relentless pace. Most importantly, those signature takedowns weren't connecting like they usually do. His typically overwhelming rhythm dropped way down, and it was Yan who completely controlled the striking battles, systematically breaking Merab down piece by piece. Helwani suggested that maybe a bunch of different factors, possibly Merab's quick turnaround back to fighting, the brutal nature of his recent weight cuts and all the cage time from staying so active, might have contributed to him looking somewhat diminished. But even considering all those potential factors, Helwani made absolutely sure to give complete credit to Yan for his totally brilliant and commanding performance.
Earned win. It's a great win, and he won that title fair and square, blown away by the performance. I mean, a master class, if you will, but it will forever be dissected and debated whether or not this was the Petr Yan show or a little bit of a mistake on Merab Dvalishvili's part. Again, much dissected in its own right. 4 fights in 2025, the decision to come back so soon after the 5-round victory over Corey Sandhagen back in October. Did he take on too much? Too many weight cuts, too many rounds, too many minutes inside the octagon. Was this a mistake? And how much of that came into play here tonight in that performance? Because this was not the Merab that we have seen as of late. Failed many takedown attempts, looked tired, was getting beat up, was getting pieced on his feet. In fact, it looked like he was falling in love with the striking early on. And when I was watching that, I was thinking to myself, could this be part of his undoing?
Meanwhile, at the same time, Islam Makhachev, widely considered one of the pound-for-pound elite, showed enormous respect for Merab Dvalishvili, describing him as one of the most durable and relentless competitors in the whole division. He then made sure to give Petr Yan complete recognition for securing a powerful, totally earned victory, recognizing just how good his performance really was. Islam Makhachev came right out and said, "Merab, you are one of the greatest to ever do this. Congratulations, Petr. You deserve it." Adding to all the recognition, Umar Nurmagomedov also spoke up, praising Petr Yan's commanding victory over Merab and confidently stating that the bantamweight division is about to become even more wildly competitive. He explained that the next title contender should become crystal clear after UFC 34, where he's personally scheduled to face the dangerous Davison Figueiredo, and he absolutely plans to make his own undeniable statement for a shot at that championship belt. Umar Nurmagomedov added his thoughts, saying, "Amazing, spectacular fight. Congratulations to Petr. I think on January 24th it will become obvious who is next." What's really interesting is that during all this, Petr Yan took some time to look back on his original championship reign, honestly acknowledging that he moved up the ranks way too quickly, which eventually led to a bunch of preventable errors in his preparation. He explained that he relied on his natural talent a bit too much, possibly overestimating his grappling skills, and most importantly, didn't have the proper team setup supporting him during that period. Now he claims those critical problems have been completely addressed, and he strongly believes he's evolved far beyond the fighter he used to be. Petr Yan shared his honest perspective. "I rushed to my first title and made many mistakes in my camps. I believed in my skills too much. I thought I can wrestle. In fact, I was wrong. I knew my mistakes before those fights. I didn't have teamwork and we worked on it." On a different but connected topic, Aljamain Sterling, better known as Funkmaster, watched Petr Yan win back the bantamweight title in real time. He gave his congratulations, but you could sense he was also keeping his own title dreams right at the forefront of his thinking. Sterling made it crystal clear that even though he's celebrating Yan's impressive win, he absolutely still wants to face him sometime in 2020, boldly reminding everyone that a future battle between these two competitors is definitely still very much on his radar. Additionally, the iconic Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson also came forward to praise Petr Yan for his pure grit and absolutely elite-level performance. Mighty Mouse, with his sharp, analytical perspective, broke down how Yan smoothly and perfectly transitioned between southpaw and orthodox stances, making it extremely hard for Merab to read his attacks. He emphasized how Yan expertly punished Merab every time his takedown attempts came up short, taking advantage of those key opportunities and landed clean, punishing body shots that gradually wore down Merab's toughness. Johnson also made a sharp observation about Yan's extremely calm and controlled attitude during the whole fight, mentioning that it made it nearly impossible to know when he was hurt or bothered, displaying truly championship-perm mental strength. In the end, Mighty Mouse gave his genuine congratulations to Yan on a truly outstanding and unforgettable performance.
Petr Yan looked determined as ever. It's probably the best we've ever seen Petr Yan fight. Going from southpaw to orthodox, keeping a hand in front. Each time Merab would fail a takedown, Petr Yan was right inside the void, throwing some type of exchange, and each time they would end up leaving that void, or when Merab would run away, he would always hit him in the body, and Merab would yelp. I was dying laughing. Merab was like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Watch the replay," and he goes, "Ah!" And sometimes, I've been hurt to the body, but you would never know because you're gonna have that poker face. But Merab's a very charismatic man. So, congrats to Petr Yan. You know what? When I look at the 135-pound division, it just opens everything up.
Demetrius Johnson really stressed that two main elements were totally essential in Petr Yan's controlling victory over Merab: his incredible conditioning and his rock-solid takedown defense. Mighty Mouse clearly explained that Merab Dvalishvili's whole fighting style is basically built around landing those constant takedowns to not only control his opponents, but also to gradually wear them down throughout the fight. But here's what changed everything. Yan not only defended those takedowns with incredible success, stopping Merab's every single attempt, but he also managed to get his own takedowns when it mattered most. This totally neutralized Merab's usual crushing style, basically using his best weapon against him and leaving him with no real strategy for winning. It was a tactical clinic that completely exposed Merab.
Taking the fight to Merab and also defending the takedown. If Merab can't get the takedown, then his game cannot flourish. He can still beat you, right? Like he beat Corey Sandhagen on the feet, but his game is evolved around that takedown. If he's able to get takedown or wear you down and break you mentally and physically and your spirit and your conditioning, he will maul you. But that's something he couldn't do to Petr Yan. Petr Yan was there every single way, and Petr Yan was not scared to take him down by shooting a double leg, securing a takedown. Merab bellies down and stands right back up. That's one thing both those guys did very well, is each time they did get taken down.
Looking at Merab's current position, Demetrius Johnson thoughtfully mentioned that Merab has really endured an extremely challenging year, filled with several brutal fights and the constant, physically exhausting process of multiple weight cuts. Mighty Mouse reminded everyone of a basic truth in athletics. Even the most skilled, elite-level athletes definitely need adequate rest and recovery, keep performing at their absolute best, and stay healthy overall. He kindly suggested that Merab should really take some well-deserved time to chill out, actually enjoy his life, and maybe concentrate on personal things outside the demanding world of professional fighting. He even playfully referenced the earlier comments, making jokes about hot tub relaxation, a lighthearted reference to the importance of decompressing, while making sure to appreciate and respect the incredible effort and dedication Merab has always brought to his fighting career.
Merab, that's his 4th title defense this year. That's his 4th weight cut this year. This man is always in camp. Guys, believe it or not, it doesn't matter how genetically gifted you are. Everybody is human, and your body needs rest. And like Merab says, he's not making any excuses, but I think doing 4 fights in a year, that is a lot. That is 32 weeks of hard training. 32 weeks. I think what Merab needs, he needs 10 weeks
relaxing, go on a date, get some girls in the jacuzzi instead of the men. That's something Peter Yan was saying. I thought was kind of funny. And just relax. He's made a lot of money right now. He's not married. He ain't got no kids. He's got to pay those taxes, get some investments going, invest in out Punk Harbor with his boy Aljo, and just relax and smell the roses.
Robert Whittaker, another total legend in the MMA community, also gave his thoughts on Petr Yan's completely unexpected victory over Merab, and his analysis was really enlightening. Whittaker smartly noticed that Yan looked like the peak version of himself, similar to the fighter we witnessed during his best championship era. He described Yan as sharp in every area, meaning clean, accurate, and deadly in every part of his skill set. He was confident in every single exchange, displaying zero doubt, and proved that he was technically excellent across every discipline in wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and striking. Whittaker specifically noted that Yan managed every situation that came his way with incredible composure, smoothly dealing with Merab's constant pressure. He looked basically exactly like the championship caliber fighter he once was, a truly dangerous presence back at the peak of his abilities.
The Petr Yan we saw in the octagon against Merab tonight was, in my opinion, the one we saw before he lost the title to Sterling with that funny knee, with that grounded knee. That's the Petr Yan I saw tonight. That's the one that has an answer for every position. The one that has the highest caliber of skill in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, especially kickboxing, and most importantly, putting it all together.
Robert Whittaker kept going with his analysis, completely praising Petr Yan for totally controlling the whole fight against Merab, which is incredibly tough to do against such an elite opponent. Whittaker specifically emphasized how Yan masterfully controlled the rhythm of the fight, making Merab fight exactly how he wanted. He carefully handled every position they ended up in, whether they were standing up or grappling on the mat, always seeming to be thinking one move ahead. On top of that, Whittaker stressed that Yan demonstrated the most polished and developed version of his already excellent skills. His performance wasn't just solid, it was in Whittaker's professional view, performing way above the typical level for the division, showing a truly world-class, improved version of No Mercy Yan.
He went in there and dismantled Merab. Didn't slow down a second. Didn't give a single position. Took Merab down. Took the fight to him. And honestly, that was the most clinical, leveled up version of Petr Yan we have ever seen. Like, skill-wise, that fight was so far above the rest of the division.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that Petr Yan that fought tonight doesn't lose to anybody. That was phenomenal, that performance.
The respected MMA guru responded with pure excitement to Petr Yan's massive win over Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 323, instantly calling it a generational performance, a truly remarkable showing that people will talk about for years. He specifically emphasized how Yan completely took over the important final rounds, imposing his game plan and control. What was especially amazing, according to Guru, was how Yan perfectly shut down Merab's famously relentless pace, basically eliminating his main strength. Yan showed a talent level that was clearly far beyond what we witnessed in their first fight. And here's the detail that makes this comeback even more incredible. Guru also reminded people who might not remember that Yan actually competed in their original matchup with a broken hand. This fact makes his totally dominant comeback and his showing in this rematch even more impressive and absolutely inspiring.
Petr Yan just defeated Merab Dvalishvili in the main event of UFC 323 in their rematch, and the world is good again. Petr Yan is the world champion in the Bantamweight division, destroys Merab Dvalishvili in the last 3 rounds of their fight, and all is good in this world. I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy about Petr Yan's performance, so happy about this result. I'm foaming at the mouth over this. I can't contain myself. This was a generational performance from Petr Yan. He shut down Merab Dvalishvili's grappling. And you know what? Petr Yan said in the build-up that in the first fight he had a broken hand and he was really badly injured and he fought Merab Dvalishvili with one hand. And you know what? I believe him. I believe him. Based on the different type of Yan that we saw in this fight compared to the first one, I absolutely believe him. It was said to be an excuse in the build-up, and it is an excuse, but sometimes excuses are valid.
MMA Guru continued to dramatically describe how Petr Yan constantly moved forward, mixing his crisp, accurate strikes with beautifully timed takedowns. He totally dominated Merab Dvalishvili through all 5 brutal rounds. He described a punishing, completely one-sided showing, where even though Merab's crazy toughness kept him standing and fighting, Yan delivered massive and non-stop damage. Guru passionately stated that the Terminator version of Petr Yan had definitely and completely returned at UFC 323 back to take his rightful spot. He quoted his own words, saying, "Petr Yan walks down, takes down, and destroys Merab Dvalishvili over 5 rounds." In a vicious 5-round beatdown, domination and destruction of Merab's face, Merab is a tough mother, but Yan with 2 arms is just too much pain. The Terminator is back on top beyond the raw power. MMA Guru also cleverly highlighted Petr Yan's really smart and planned approach of constantly hitting Merab's forearms with elbows during those tight bodylock situations. This sneaky but brutal tactic slowly broke down Merab's strength and grip, basically taking away one of his most dangerous tools. Guru celebrated this as a genius tactical move, and an incredible overall showing that definitely confirms Yan's place among the sport's true elite.
When Merab Dvalishvili tried to hold him against the cage in the body lock, he was he was smashing the forearms of Merab with elbows over and over again. I think that was a massive factor in this fight because Merab didn't seem as strong as the fight went on in those body lock positions, because anytime he got to that early, Yan was smashing his forearms with elbows over and over again and weakening the forearm strength and grip of Merab Dvalishvili. It was a genius game plan. It was an amazing performance. I think he's right back in the GOAT talks, not of the sport, but his legacy picks right back up where it left off here, defeating that Merab.
Last but not least, Justin Gaethje, another world-class fighter, also stepped up with major respect for Petr Yan's controlling performance over Merab. He described it as an amazing demonstration of skill against what he thinks is one of the sport's legendary competitors, which is massive praise coming from someone of Gaethje's level. On his social media account, Gaethje posted his obvious respect for the entire fight and, more importantly, for Yan's incredible accomplishment. His message was straightforward and to the point. Hell of a performance from Yan, world class. Meanwhile, Aljamain Sterling, the former champion, gave well-earned applause to Petr Yan and his whole team for what he called a beautifully executed performance. Sterling specifically pointed out the extremely smart adjustments they obviously made during the fight, which turned out to be game-changing. He then mentioned that he's planning to carefully study the fight with Merab, breaking down every detail to get ready for their own future battle. Aljamain observed that a few things seemed slightly unusual with Merab's showing. He added that it's totally possible this was exactly what Yan's strategic approach was designed to accomplish. Sterling thoughtfully highlighted the critical importance of recovery, endless learning, and constant improvement in a fighter's long and difficult career, all while taking time to thank the fans for their incredible support. Aljamain Sterling's thoughtful statement sums this up perfectly. Thanks to Yan and his team, they fought well and made great adjustments. I can't wait to watch it back with Merab and plan for the comeback. Some things looked a little off, but maybe that was what Yan was doing. We'll take a look, heal up, and go again. This is the journey of a fighter. I hope you all enjoyed the battle.